I'd like to call this meeting of the Zion City Council to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner McKinney, Commissioner Deteen.
Here.
Commissioner McDowell,
Here.
Commissioner Taylor, Mayor Hill.
Here. I would like to call on Janae Latif to say the invocation, please.
Thank you, Mayor Hill, honorable city council members. Ahmadiyya Muslim community is deeply honored for the opportunity to offer the first prayer of 2016 before the city council. So it's customary in Islamic practices to start proceedings off with a silent prayer. So that's what I'll be asking everyone to join me in today. So just to give you an idea of what I'll be praying for, I'll be praying for the peace and prosperity of the city of Zion for the year 2016. Also, I'll be asking the gracious God to guide and protect our city and its leadership, and allow our leadership to administer their responsibilities with strength and courage, and also with compassion and with care. I'll also be praying that all those who fulfill some position of leadership, that we lead with service, and that God grants us the opportunity to also lead with those characteristics that all our faiths call us to exhibit and to imbibe. Also, I'd like to pray for all those who've chosen to put themselves in harm's way, our armed forces, those on our police forces, those serving overseas in all the different capacities. May God protect all of those men and women, and grant them safety and bring them, back home to their families safely. So with that, I'd like to ask everyone to please join me in a silent prayer. Ameen.
Thank you.
May you all have a blessed 2016.
Thank you. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 4 is agenda changes. Do we have any agenda changes? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda as presented? So moved. A motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deteen,
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell,
Aye.
Mayor Hill.
Aye. There are no citizens' comments for this evening. In relationship to item 5, item 6 is the consent agenda, and I guess as I'm looking at the agenda, I think this may be the fastest meeting in City Hall history that we're about to embark on, so that's very quick, but consent agenda.
Approval of minutes of a regular meeting held on December 15th, 2015 at 7:05 p.m. and approval but not release of closed session minutes of a meeting held on December 15th, 2015 at 7:55 p.m. Bills, vouchers 122510 through 122583, drawn on First Merit Bank, total $436,652.33.
We've heard
Move that we approve the consent agenda.
we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deteen,
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell,
Aye.
Mayor Hill.
Aye. Item number 7 is discussion, authorization, and approval. 7A is consider approval of security benefit 457 deferred compensation plan adoption agreement and resolution documents per Clerk Burkhammer.
The city employees have the benefit of a 457 deferred compensation plan, which is provided by Security Benefit, and they have contacted us to let us know that our current plan document needs some revisions in order to be compliant with the IRS requirements. So they have sent us a new document, and they are asking that the council pass a resolution to accept this new plan. There's no fee for it, so I just request that the council consider it.
We've all had an opportunity to look at the document, and Director Nabel, would you explain very briefly the few changes that, between the old document and the new document?
Sure. As Clerk Burkhammer said, some of it is just reference to IRS codes and statutes to get everything aligned up. It also addresses the fees for 457 loans for participants if they want to take a loan from their 457 contributions. The fee went up from $50 to $100 on the loan, and then the interest rate charged on that loan went from prime plus 1 to prime plus 2, and that's pretty much it. All there is to it. It's just
Okay, and for clarification for everybody, the employees are not getting a loan from the city. The employees are taking a loan from the money that they've contributed out of their own paychecks into their deferred compensation fund.
correct. This is a taxable benefit to them to be able to take some of their own salary, set it aside to supplement their Social Security, any pensions, just to save for retirement. There's no matching provision for the city. It's just a vehicle for employees to be able to plan for the future, and they can borrow against that, just like 401ks and things like that. They can borrow against their own retirement plan if they choose.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the Zion Security Benefit 457 Deferred Compensation Plan.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Item 7B is review of Zion Municipal Ordinances and International Property Maintenance Code for code enforcement per Mayor Hill. I'm bringing this before the council because, as you know, we'll begin implementation of the rental inspection program within a few weeks. Public comment about this program reflected a concern that if rental units are to be more closely monitored, owner-occupied units should also receive more attention. We assured everyone that this would happen. Your packet includes a list of items that the property maintenance inspectors typically look for during inspections. These standards will be applied equally and fairly to all residential units in the city of Zion. I am asking that the city council verify that these ordinances should be enforced and that their enforcements will have the complete support of the council. And I'm bringing this forward because I think we're about to embark on the rental program, and it has caused some consternation among some of the landlords. And they did say that if you're going to apply this to us, we need to apply it to the occupied units in the city also. And what I gave you is a list of the primary considerations that the building department looks for when they're out looking at property. And these are the things that we see more often than others. And what I'm asking is that I want to be sure that there aren't things on here that we want to get off because that we don't want to enforce, because the building department will be out enforcing this. And what typically happens in a lot of cases is that the building department will enforce this, and then somebody won't like it, and so they'll call either the mayor or they'll call the commissioner, and then the commissioner will say, well, let me see what I can do and take care of it. And I just want to be sure that we're enforcing this equally and fairly across the board for everyone, and that the building department knows that we have their backs, and we're not going to say, well, it's okay for that guy because he's I don't want to say a friend of mine, but I just want to be sure that everybody understands that these are going to be enforced, and we need to be sure that the building department knows that they have to go about enforcing these.
So we're not proposing any changes to our building code or our enforcement. You've just given us a list of some of the more frequent property maintenance issues that we have in the city.
Yes, and the attachment that you have in the back, Director Ironson put that together because there were some things on here that when I looked at them, I didn't understand what they were, but it says unlawful structure. So I asked him to define those, and that's what he's done on the back 2 pages of it. So I'm just asking for a recommitment that these are the things that we do want to look at.
Yeah. How often do we review the property maintenance code and make changes to it, or does the building department from time to time make suggested changes to this?
Actually, we're currently on the 2000 version, the International Property Maintenance Code.
I think in time we will consider going to the 2012 adoption, but it's the whole code. If you actually go on the city website, you can pull up the whole version of the municipal code or the,
Yeah, I've read it, actually.
yeah. And that's-
When I couldn't sleep, I decided to read it.
It puts me to sleep.
But we are considering going to 2012, we just haven't done it yet.
In looking at the list that you provided here, it looks like some of these things actually apply to rental property as opposed to
It could be
residential
both, yes.
property.
Well, apply to both.
Okay,
But I just want to be sure that everybody understands that these will be applied to the residential property also.
what would precipitate entering into someone's home to do any of these, inspect any of these items here?
Entering into a owner-occupied home,
Yes.
we would have to be invited and we wouldn't,
Okay.
we wouldn't just go.
So all this is done from the outside,
That is
making
correct.
observations from the
That's
outside? Okay. But with our rental property and our new code, we're actually entering into the property,
That is correct,
okay. But we're not doing that with residential property.
unless we're invited in.
So basically, we're just doing what we have been doing in the past. You just want us to affirm that this is what we're doing.
Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly it. There are no changes here.
So do we need a motion for anything, or you're just
I think
giving it
that
to?
would be great if we could have a motion to, just that we're affirming that this is what we want to do.
Is there anything preventing us from, at some future date, should we discover that there's an issue with one of these items here, to bring it to the attention of council and make a change?
In fact, I think that that's the way that if there is an issue, if someone would say, you know, they have a gravel driveway, they want to they've expanded their driveway with gravel on the right-hand side, they're parking vehicles on it, and the building department issues a violation, and then somebody calls me and says, I want to change this. Well, I think that is the next step then. If I think that we should, or you think, or any of the commissioners think that, well, maybe we should change our code, we need to change the code and not tell the building department, well, don't enforce it on that guy. So you hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
If we need these to change, we need to change the code.
Now, can we change a single item in this code, or do we have to adopt a whole new code?
Well, we would have to amend the property maintenance code and exclude it from the property
Yeah,
maintenance.
so we could take each individual item.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
I move for approval that we pass this.
We have a motion
Second?
and a second. Further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Departmental commentary?
Yeah, I have something. I just want to point out the topic for the taxpayers, that we received a check today to fund our K-9 unit again. Since the inception of our K-9 unit for the police department, a private fund has picked up all expenses for that. This year, they've covered our training costs, food, and veterinarian costs again. So this is the 5th straight year that this private fund, which wants to remain anonymous, has paid for our K-9 unit for the police department.
Please thank them for all of this. Anything else? Okay, we have announcements. January 18th, city offices are closed for Martin Luther King holiday. January 19th, 6:30 is a township board meeting, and at 7 PM, the Zion City Council meeting. And item number 10 is there's a need for a closed session pursuant to 5 Illinois CS 120/2, open meetings for the discussion of personnel and collective bargaining. Is there a motion to go into executive, or
So
closed
moved.
session? Is there a motion? Second. Second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Deteen? Commissioner Deteen?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor Hill?
Aye. Thank you.